Hey guys, welcome back to the Crochet with Kelsey channel. Today is a market day and I am going to bring you along for the ride. My market today is in Clyde Warren Park in downtown Dallas, and it's my first time doing an event here, so I'm super excited to see how it goes, and I'm glad to have y'all along for the ride. So the market has begun. We're a few minutes in and I already have sold a few items. It was a little bit hectic setting up this morning, but we got it done and we are having some great weather today, so hopefully a lot of people come out. And let me show you my booth. So we have about 3 hours left of the market and it's been a pretty decent day so far. I haven't really sold a lot of bigger items. It's mostly been smaller $10 to $20 items, but we still have a few hours, so that could definitely turn around. And I will show y'all what my booth looks like after the market, and then I will check in tomorrow to give you my market recap. All right, so it has been a few days since the boho market at Clyde Warren Park, and I do want to apologize. I meant to take a video of my booth at the very end of the market, but unfortunately it started raining about 15 minutes before the market was supposed to end, and I was getting really nervous because Nick was like, let's start packing up, and I agreed with him because all of our stuff was gonna get wet. At the same time, I saw that they had a policy where you have to pay an extra $25 if you pack up early, but I didn't get charged, so I'm just assuming that, rain is a factor that can void that policy. But I also felt really bad because we were right next to a bookseller and rain can completely ruin books. So I guess I was happy to have crochet plushies, and I do have a rain plan. So like I said, I had bought those tent walls and there actually wasn't any rain in the forecast, so I didn't even bring them. But the bags that I bring my plushies in actually are waterproof. So whenever it started raining, I just kind of threw everything in those bags as quickly as I possibly could. And then it really started pouring down after our setup was down and we just had to take everything to the car. But I am so thankful that Nick was there with me because he was able to go get us a parking spot that was decently close. We didn't have to walk super far in the rain to get all of our stuff to the car, but the load in and load out was pretty simple. It was just a matter of finding a parallel parking space around the park, which surprisingly wasn't too difficult considering the amount of people that go to that park. But overall, it was a really good experience. I just wish it hadn't rained at the end. There were a lot of kids there, a lot of families. There's actually a playground at the park, and it was the first weekend of summer, so there were a lot of people out. And they also have food trucks at that park. So we ended up getting Fletcher's corn dogs for lunch. If you know, you know. They're the ones that they sell at the Texas State Fair. Maybe they sell them at other state fairs too, but they're the best corn dogs ever. And then there was a coffee vendor that we got some delicious Mexican coffee from. So it was a fun day, it was a good day. I didn't even crochet at all. I was just trying to engage with the customers and everyone was really nice. And the market organizer actually came and introduced herself and was kind of asking me about how the event was going. And I feel like that's always a really good sign because it shows that they actually care if the vendors are happy. So I would definitely do it again, but the booth fee was pretty steep. So I paid $200 for the booth, and this area has a ton of foot traffic without a market going on. So I feel like it's maybe justified to be able to charge that much to set up there, just because you know that the market isn't relying on the vendor advertising to get people in. So now's for the fun part. Let's go through everything that I sold and then we'll see how much money I made and then we'll decide if this market was worth it or not. It seems like people gravitate towards the $10 or $12 items, and a lot of times a kid will come up because something catches their eye, and then, you know, the parents look at the price tag, see that it's like $60 or whatever, and then they say, no, you can pick something from here, here, here. So basically from the $10 bin, the $12 bin, or a mystery box, or a keychain, or a claw machine play. So the first two items I ended up selling were actually from an older couple, and the wife wanted to get a little desk friend for one of her coworkers, and then she also got one for herself as well. So together she got a cactus and a cat from the $10 bin. And then my second item to sell was the little unicorn, and this little girl was just immediately drawn to it, and she just had to have it, so her parents did end up buying it for her. And I sold that one for $30. I think that that's a pretty good price for how quick those are. And I also like that price because it's more approachable for people who maybe don't want to spend as much on a plushie for their kid. I then sold a little alien and an octopus for my $10 and $12 bins, followed by a little pig for my $10 bin and a little bear for my $10 bin. I sold a total of 7 mystery boxes at this market, and I believe I brought 15. So I still have a few left over, which is good. I sold a little snake from my $10 bin. I sold 2 bee keychains. I sold a strawberry keychain. So I was actually away from the booth for a minute to get, I think I was either in the bathroom or getting something to drink. So Nick was manning the booth, and he had made one sale, but the sale didn't go through on the square, and like there was an error or something, and the person had already walked away. But they bought a strawberry keychain, or they got a strawberry keychain for free because their card didn't go through. But it's kind of tricky sometimes because, you know, you want to like wait and make sure everything is processed and goes through, but sometimes the people just like tap their card and then walk away. So I don't know how soon it had happened, but there have been instances where that's happened to me, and then I have to go kind of like chase the person down and be like, hey, your payment didn't go through. And they usually understand, but I'm just glad that it was a little keychain that was $8 rather than like a, you know, my $200 Charizard. I sold 4 little chick keychains total, and I made 5, so I'd say that's pretty good. That was my best-selling keychain of the day. I sold 3 little whale keychains, 3 little octopus keychains, and I actually sold both of my Soot Sprite keychains, which I know in my market prep video, I was saying, I don't know if these are gonna sell or not, but both of them sold, so I'll probably make more for my next market. And I also sold 2 out of 3 of the Soot Sprite car mirror charms that I made. I sold a total of 7 claw machine plays, and I feel like that's pretty average for me. Sometimes people will play a little more, sometimes they'll play a little less, but I was expecting to have more claw machine plays since I knocked that price down from $7 to $5, but I still feel like the $5 is worth my time, especially because it's not like every single person coming to my booth is only buying a $5 item. I sold both of my little Dittos and both of my little Pikachus in my $12 basket. I sold my big mushroom plush. I sold it for $45, and the mom of that family seemed a little bit upset because she came up and told her 2 boys that they could pick one thing, and one of them picked like a little plushie. I think he picked a Pikachu, and then the other one picked the $45 mushroom plush, and then she was kind of glaring at her husband whenever I was telling them the total price. But you know, like I almost feel a little bad, but at the same time it's like they should have looked at the price tag. So I don't know. I know that that plushie took a while to make, and I should be charging accordingly for my work. So if they can't understand that, then I'm sorry. I then sold a little fox and a little heart for my $10 bin. I think I had 5 dinosaurs that I brought total from Dee Dee's Plushies pattern, and I ended up selling 4 of those. So I either had them priced at $20 or $15. I sold my little Stitch car mirror charm. I sold my little Torchic Pokemon. I sold 1 chicken car mirror charm. Usually that car mirror charm does the best, so I'm kind of surprised that I only sold 1. I sold my floppy ferret. I sold my Charmander snuggler, and I'm so grateful because I have had those Pokemon snugglers for forever. I feel like snugglers just like don't appeal to a ton of people. But whenever someone sees them and like knows what they are, I feel like that's the only time that I'll ever really sell them. And then surprisingly, this guy came up to my booth and he pointed at my Sylveon plushie and said, "How much is that?" And I was like, you know, I'm gonna tell him how much it is and then he's not gonna buy it. And so I walked over there, looked at the price tag, it was $80. And he said, "Okay, can I have it?" And I said, yeah. So that was my biggest item that I sold of the day. And I'm really happy because I made those plushies about a year ago and I made a few different evolutions, but that's like one of my favorite Pokemon plushies that I've made. And I'm just like so scared every time I hang on to it just because it's white. So if it falls on the ground, it's done for, but now it's out of my hands and I hope that it is enjoyed. I then sold a little mushroom pot for $10, my little elephant plushie for $50, and then a little lizard for $10. And I will say when I was setting up, I did a new setup as you saw in my video with the little U shape. It was probably my favorite setup that I've ever done, but I didn't know where things were going at first. I was kind of trying to figure it out as, you know, we were kind of setting up everything, and I dropped a plushie on the ground and it was white. It was the little cranky kitten from Snuggle Beans Crochet's pattern, and that one is so cute. I know it would have sold, but I dropped it and it got totally destroyed on the bottom. So I'm gonna try to clean it. Maybe I can like make a reel or something out of it. But yeah, that was pretty sad. Sometimes whenever the plushies fall, they just get absolutely destroyed, and I have had success cleaning some of them, but this one is like bright white, so I'm a little bit worried, but it'll just go to show how well the cleaning methods work. And it would also be a good instructional video that I can maybe have a QR code to on my website or something so that people can see how they can clean their plushies if they do get dirty. So I sold $826 worth of inventory, which is pretty good for like a 6-hour market in my mind. It's a little bit better than I normally do. And again, the booth fee was $200, so it was a little steep. So I made a total of $626. And I'm just really glad that I made anything at this market because the booth fee was steep and I just have so much inventory that I need to move. And unfortunately, it was most of my smaller items that sold. I really need to move some of the bigger items so I can start making more bigger items. But overall, I think it was a good day. I think it was worth it. Like, I would probably do this market again. They have another one in September whenever the weather will be a little bit cooler, so I might be doing that one. But my next market is in a few weeks, and it is the Bishop Bazaar, which I've done before. Also a pretty steep booth fee of $185. So I usually don't come out with more than like $300 of profit at that one, so I'm hoping it goes better. I'm definitely glad that I market prepped so many smaller items though, because that is a majority of what's sold, but I'm also very thankful for anyone who bought a larger item that was like more than $30, because now I can add some more inventory. And I didn't even get to put out all my inventory at this market just because my table was starting to look a little crowded, and sure, I could have like jam the plushies and wherever they could fit, but I wanted it to look nice. So let me know in the comments if you think this market was worth it or not. I'm curious to know what booth fees are like in other states and other cities, so also let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching, and I should have another market vlog in about 3 weeks from now, so be sure to stay tuned for that, and I will see you next time.